Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I have some updated news. A friend of mine contacted me who lives in Austria by the name of Martin, and he has been in communication with me off and on, and I have friends in various locations around the world that do communicate with regarding what's going on in their country or news that we don't necessarily get here statewide, or stateside. What he said was, we just found out that there's a big nationwide blackout exercise to simulate a power outage across Europe, in Austria, in neighboring countries. They didn't mention exactly which one. And he said it begins on May 10th through June 7th, and it is called, of all things, Operation Helios. So, Helios regarding the sun, they plan on doing something. And in the same time of May 10th through June 7th, in Hungary, Slovenia, Croatia, and the U.S. Army of Europe, are conducting a huge military exercise called Immediate Response. Immediate Response 2019 is a multinational exercise co-led by Croatian Armed Forces, Slovenian Armed Forces, and U.S. Army Europe. IR-19 takes place from May 10th to June 7th at various locations throughout host nations, Croatia, Hungary, Slovenia. Logistics focus. The exercise is designed to test and improve the ability to move forces and equipment rapidly from one location to another. This highlights of the IR-19 or IR-19 include airborne jumps, air assaults, medical exercises, a live fire exercise, and the establishment and integration of a multinational battalion with forces from 15 nations. And then he commented, "I wonder what's really going on." He said the blackout exercises was in the news, and then he Googled it, and he saw that the information was located, which I will have attached to this updated news. And so now I'm going to read to you some of the details of what they have to say. They actually have the immediate response, which is the IR-19 or IR-19 2019, is the multinational one that I was talking about. Takes place at the time that I mentioned. And so those are to move forces, equipment rapidly, airborne jumps, air assaults, medical exercises. And so that one is called the Immediate Response 2019. Then there's another one called the Saber Guardian 2019, an exercise co-led by the Romanian Land Forces and U.S. Army Europe that takes place at the same time, or June 3rd through the 24th, at various locations in Bulgaria, Hungary, and Romania. Included among the many different training events in the SG-19, there will be vehicle road marches, medical exercises, multiple river crossings, and an air assault. It's designed to improve, the SG-19 is designed to improve the integration of multinational combat forces. This takes place in June. So that's called the Exercise Saber Guardian 2019. Then there's another training event that takes place. It's called the Swift Response 2019. Is a U.S. Army European directed exercise led by the U.S. Global Response Force and is taking place from June 11th through the 24th at various locations in Bulgaria, Croatia, and Romania. SR-19 will demonstrate the strategic employment of the GRF and validate U.S. European Command's ability to send high readiness forces into designated area while advancing airborne interoperability among NATO allies. They have a summer exercise media advisory. The 6 other exercises we are participating in this summer. One is called the Astral Night 2019, is a U.S. Air Force's Europe exercise that takes place from June 3rd to 7th in various locations in Croatia, Germany, Italy, Slovenia. AK-19 is a joint exercise conducting integrated air and missile defense of key terrain. AK-19 will involve a combination of flight operations and computer-assisted exercises scenarios, including the participation of U.S. Naval Forces of Europe, U.S. Army Europe, and the Croatian Air Force, U.S. Army Europe's participation, including the 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command, deploying to Ramstein Air Base in Germany, Aviano Air Base in Italy, Port of Koper, Slovenia, and aboard an Aegis destroyer. There's another one called Breakthrough 2019. It's a Hungarian national exercise taking place from June 4th through the 15th in the vicinity of Várpalota, Hungary, hosted by the Hungarian Defense Forces. Breakthrough 2019 is a bilateral exercise that will test several fire systems and execute multi-echelon fires to increase interoperability and readiness between the two armies. Highlights of Breakthrough 2019 include an artillery live fire, participation of several U.S. Army National Guards units from 4 different states. Here's the Decisive Strike 2019 is North Macedonia's national exercise taking place from June 5th to July 10th at the Krivolak Military Training Center in Krivolak, North Macedonia, co-led by Army of the Republic of North Macedonia and the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. It's an interesting combination. The exercise culminates with a company-led combined arms live fire exercises and opportunities for nations to improve readiness and interoperability among allies and partners. The Decisive Strike 2019 includes air-ground operations on explosive breach, live fires, and simulated and medical evacuations. There's another one called Shabla 2019. Is a Bulgarian national exercise taking place on June 4th through 14th. Shabla, Bulgaria, hosted by the Bulgarian Armed Forces. Shabla 2019 includes the participation of Bulgarian Air Force, Navy, and Land Forces, and U.S. Army, Europe's 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command. This bilateral joint air defense live fire exercises designed to improve readiness and interoperability in order to protect national air sovereignty. Highlights of the Shabla 2019 include a series of live fires featuring several different types of missiles and missiles firing systems. Strike Back 2019 is another one. This is also in Bulgaria. It's a national exercise from June 6th through the 20th in Novo Selo Training Center in Bulgaria, hosted by the Bulgarian Armed Forces. Strike Back 2019 is a multinational exercise including participation of Albania, Greece, North Macedonia, and U.S. troops. The exercise is designed to increase the capabilities and interoperability with allies and partners. The highlight of Strike Back 2019 is a battalion live fire exercise with artillery and mortar fires. Then there is Zentes Axe 2019 is a Hungarian national exercise taking place from May 31st to June 11th in Szentes. It's Szentes, Hungary, posted by the Hungarian Ground Forces. It's by Zentes Axe. It's AXE 2019 is bilateral field training exercise designed to enable freedom of movement and sustainment operations throughout the area. The highlight of Zentes Axe 2019 is a wet gap crossing. So this is was put out by the Department of the Army, the European Command, Department of Defense, NATO. Obviously it's 2019. About us. Let's see if I can get some information here. I am U.S. Army Europe, and leadership has all sorts of information on the website. It's really hard to understand exactly what they're doing here. There's something here about Georgia defense. We could probably keep on going and looking. Some of the links are not working here. Oh, am I not surprised? So this is probably, I'm not sure if this is meant for civilians. I know that this was sent to me, but it is something to take note of. I'm going to put the link in there. Maybe you can dissect it even further and find out what's going on. But it's something to be looking at. Kind of caught my attention. I think anyone from the American, European, and Eastern European as well might be interested in knowing what type of activities going on. There seems to be coalitions and kind of working together collaboratively for some reason that relates to a protective cause. Now, we've talked in the past about what's going on in California and kind of trains carrying military vehicles and even surveillance vehicles to different regions. So this, I don't know what they're amping up for, but it's something that we probably shouldn't ignore. Maybe people have some information. I guess is I'm limited in what I can talk about since I'm not actually in a position to be talking about what is actually going on in the military, but rather, as a civilian looking at this and taking note that they are preparing something and they're training for something. And so, I don't know. We'll just keep it on our radar for right now. It's not really a comforting feeling to see all of this, but I thought it was important to share. Thank you for listening. We will keep you tuned in with anything else that comes up, and have a good day.